Discussion? None? All in favor? Thanks. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes from September 12th, 2022?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I will second.
Discussion? None? All in favor? Thank you. All right, it's the only part I like of these meetings. Everything else, I'm going to leave with you. So, Dr. Meyer, I think it's for you.
Yep, so we try to periodically represent some students and staff members of the month. To start us off for this month, we're going to call up high school principal Scott Cermak.
Good evening, everyone. So I have a staff member and a student we'd like to recognize from Clinton High School. First, the staff member is Mr. David Holfinger. David, please come up here, please. So we have a form that goes out to our students and staff, and they get to nominate staff members or students for certain things that happen at the high school. Mr. Holfinger was nominated by a student. I'm going to read what the student wrote. It says, Mr. Holfinger is the best coach teacher. Mr. Holfinger, as a coach, has taught my team and I many things. He pushes us to do better with ourselves and school. He does not see any sport as the first priority. Mr. Holfinger makes sure we are doing good at school and mentally. He offers help to us with our schoolwork if we need it. And I know me personally, I've gone to him with my math homework. Mr. Holfinger is a great guy and looks out for his students. With that, I want to thank him so much.
Backpack. Bring your gear to cross-country meets here.
Next, I have a student. Her name is Phoenix Ramos. Phoenix, if you could come up here with me, please. Thank you. Phoenix was nominated by a staff member. Phoenix took the time out of her tutorial to help students who did not have phones that day. She helped them scan a QR code to meet with their guidance counselors to change their schedules. She used her own phone and her own time, walked them through the process of how to make a request and to change a class, and made sure that they finished the process. This happened during the third day of school, and it was very busy, and she was a great help. For that, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
For your blew us off.
All right, so moving on to the middle school, I think our MC is going to be our Dean of Students, Mike Natero.
All right, so I got a bunch here, so bear with me for a few minutes. We have 5 students of the month for September, 1 from each grade level / team. So I'll start with 5th grade. Our winner is Ethan Becerra. Ethan was nominated by his teachers. They said he's a very kind student. He's inclusive of all others, respectful of teachers and all other adults in the building, and always has a nice smile on him. Congratulations.
Go, Ethan.
Congrats, Abe.
Our 6th grade winner is Bianca Barrera. I got kind words from our 5th and 6th grade teachers here. She's always looking out for others, making sure that others' needs are met before her own, and she's a very hard worker.
Well done.
From 7th grade, we have Chloe Senna Swisher. Chloe is a very kind student who is respectful of all those around her, especially her peers, and she's a very hard worker in the classroom. From our 7 and 8 team, we have 8th grader Eduardo Steinbeck of Arcego. Eduardo moved here from Brazil last year and was a level 3 EL student. He quickly obtained his exit status in 1 year and has continued to be a standout student. He asks for clarification when needed and is always there to help other students when he can. And our 8th grade student is Elizabeth Morataya Osorio. Elizabeth is extremely outgoing and friendly. She's inclusive of all those students, specifically new students to the school. She's very hardworking and is always smiling. And we have 3 employees of the month as well here. We have Mr. Seed, our assistant principal. Mrs. Mendoza. And Mrs. Kelly Vanass here. So these 3 staff members spent an extraordinary amount of time over the summer putting in a lot of work to our new student information system. We had a couple glitches at the beginning of the year. They were always there to fix stuff, and they're always there for any staff or student should they need any help with anything. So thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, and now for the Clinton Elementary School Awards, Principal Megan Silvio.
Right. We would like to recognize Chrissy Doback. Chrissy consistently demonstrates leadership and initiative within her classroom, her team, and within her school community. She is a positive, driven, and committed teacher. She is solution-oriented and often quietly ensures that things are organized and efficient behind the scenes. At the elementary school, we began a co-teaching model last year. We called her in August and asked her if she wanted to jump on, and without hesitation and an obvious driven passion, she jumped right in with our crazy ideas. She's an integral participant in the success of this model, and she took every opportunity to learn with our consultant and was a supportive and optimistic voice within that pilot team. We also were selected last year to pilot a high-quality foundational reading program, and Chrissy jumped at the opportunity to bring this program to her students. When our school was selected to push the pilot further to all our K-2 staff, Chrissy took on a leadership role and advocated for the opportunity to bring it to all of our students. She continues to demonstrate leadership and support her colleagues and learn through our Apple Seeds pilot. Chrissy is additionally a member of our school council, and just due to the contributions she makes to our school community, deserves the recognition for the positive impact she makes on our school. Schools need leaders like Chrissy to consistently demonstrate leadership and initiative, and her contributions to the elementary school story make it a good one to help keep our passion alive. Our student isn't able to be with us tonight, but we wanted to recognize Samuel D'Souza. He is also being recognized for his leadership skills. He's been with us since kindergarten. When he joined us, he was just learning the English language, and he is now fluent in both English and Portuguese. On the first days of school this year, we had some kindergarten students that were feeling a little bit nervous and scared to come to school in a new country and not able to communicate with us in our language, and he demonstrated leadership and initiative by just jumping in and trying to help figure out what the kids wanted and needed, and was able to teach. He's teaching me a little Portuguese on the side so that I don't have to keep pulling him from math class, he said. So he's not with us tonight, but we'll pass that along.
Well done. All right, that's our student and staff recognition.
Before we move on to public comment, you're all welcome to stay. You don't have to. I don't know why you would.
We understand if you choose not to.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for coming out.
If I could take a motion now to take a 5-minute recess, just so that they can kind of get out and clear, and they can take some photos, and then, okay, good? Just a quick 5 minutes? Good?
Second.
Yeah, second.
There you go. All in favor? I screwed that up.
All right, so
Just a
like
quick
7
5 minutes.
Yeah, 7:15 or so.
Yeah. Yeah, that way they can't, if they want to take pictures.
Pictures of yourself now. You had to get all.
Down. I looked down and she took the picture.
There you go. All right, before we move on, anything under public comment? Yep, please.
I guess I sit here.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
My name is William Kerrigan.
Hi.
And I'm here representing the Duck Harbor residents. I don't know if everybody's familiar with Duck Harbor, but anyways, we have a safety issue there, and I'd just like to go over with you, just make you aware of it, and perhaps if there's further interest, then I can give you more detail.
Okay.
In 1968, the factory that's just above the DPW had signs installed by the Board of Selectmen that no trucks were allowed into Duck Harbor area. And the owners of that facility maintained that relationship with the residents for 50-some-odd years. Recently, the building's been sold. And within the last 6 months, the owner has insisted running trailer trucks through the neighborhood. Now, there's 2 bus stops in this neighborhood, and roughly 8 to 10 buses travel through there every school day. There's a lot of walkers that come up here rather than taking the bus. I have handouts, and I don't know if it's appropriate to pass them out later or not, but you're certainly welcome to have them for reference down the road.
Yep.
And so what's happened is, and some of these trailer trucks are very large, 88 feet long, 88 feet. And one of the intersections, I call it bus stop 2, the width of the road is 21 feet 6 inches. I mean, these are narrow streets. And so our concern is that the health of the kids is at risk at this point. Now, if you take it a step further and you think about where there are no sidewalks, first of all, other than on either side of the bridge. So there are no sidewalks in Duck Harbor. Take it a step further, wintertime, snow and ice. We go from bad to worse because now the kids try to tuck over against the road when they're walking to and from. Now there's no place to go. So it becomes very serious. I mean, the state has recognized that the fatality rate, pedestrian fatality rate in Massachusetts, roughly 55% of the accidents are related to lack of sidewalks due to snow and ice and winter months, October to March. So it falls right in line with everything. Last year, there was 76 pedestrians killed in Massachusetts. So my concern is that, and I don't have kids, by the way, I have no vested interest in this. None of my kids live in town. But I see what's going on, and it makes no sense to me. I've approached the select board, and right now it's somewhat tabled. They didn't make a decision one way or the other. I tried to get them to encourage them to look at maybe the DOT, and they can at least give us an evaluation. Is this a safe situation or not? And that remains kind of tabled at the moment. So bottom line of this whole thing is that I'm looking at you people to say, take a second look at it if you'd like to support our effort to try to get this resolved. I mean, there are other options for this factory. For 50 years, the owners have always gone into the industrial area. They just redid Greeley Street. It's 34 feet wide. There's 8-foot sidewalks on either side. I mean, it's the ideal situation, but so far, my plea, or our plea for the residents of Duck Harbor has pretty much fallen on, I don't want to say it's fallen deaf ears. I shouldn't say that. They're still considering it, but it's going to take a lot of effort. So if you people want to take a second look at it, and if you have any questions, I mean, you can call me. I'm available.
If you have a handout.
I do have handouts, and I don't know if I have enough for everybody, but somebody might have to.
Even one copy would be fine. We can
Well,
get it put
I
into
may,
the...
I think I may.
We can share.
We'll share.
Okay, I can share. And then I don't need to go through it because it'd probably take me a half an hour, and it's probably more entertaining to watch something else on TV. But, let's see.
Thank you.
And so, if you have any questions, let me know, but I put some data in there. It's all pretty much data-driven, what I'm talking about. This isn't guesswork or anything else. It's all 100% data, and that's what I tried to get the town to look at. Just look at the facts, that's all. And,
So I just have a question.
Yes.
I just want to understand. So if I'm on Main Street in
Yeah.
Clinton and I take a left or a right to get on, I think
New
it's
Harbor Road, yeah.
And I go across, there's a nice, I can't think of the little park there, the name of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, the
Duffy.
Duffy Park.
Yeah,
Duffy
yeah,
Park.
yeah.
Okay. I go over the bridge.
Right.
and I go up to where the cemetery is.
Yeah.
And it's a very sharp turn there.
Right.
Not a lot of space.
Yeah.
And then I'll go down a little bit, and the business that you're talking about
Is on the left.
Is on the left.
That's right.
So what you're saying is for 50-some-odd years, that the trucks going in and out of that establishment
Yeah.
have been coming up
From the
off of-
DPW side.
From the main entrance of the Woodlawn Cemetery Road.
They,
Right.
yeah,
Woodlawn.
well, you know where the
Woodlawn.
DPW is?
Yeah.
They would go up the hill from the DPW and
Yeah.
turn right into the factory, or when they were leaving it, they would
They'd go back
exit,
down
take a
the hill.
left and go down. And,
So has the
well-
business owner been approached to ask?
oh yeah, he put out a full-blown presentation, and the thing is, because the trucks they're using are so large, he's having a hard time getting onto the bridge. And I'm thinking, so as a result of that, they're gonna shift the burden back.
But he could go across Fitch Road.
He could go Rigby or Fitch or whatever,
Rigby, yeah,
right?
Rigby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's several options there, but, you know, he wants to go this route, and, I mean, there's been 4 lost trailer trucks. 4 weeks ago, one of them got lost down, I don't know if you know where Kittredge Place is down below.
Yep, yep.
And went up Harbor Street and hit a utility pole. Pulled the wires. The only thing, the thing was dangling. One of them got lost over in my neck of the woods, which is the dead end side. Now, once you cross over Woodlawn and go into Pine Street, on the dead end side, there's 39 homes there, and there's one way in and one way out. And one of the trucks tried to go up one of the dirt roads. I mean, some of these things are massive. And like I told the police chief and the fire chief, you know, it's an accident waiting to happen. You know, we should really pay attention to this, because, I mean, and plus...
So I think I think what I can probably do is reach out to the bus company, just see if they're experiencing any of the concerns or seeing the traffic in the morning or the afternoon.
Yeah, they have.
Just to
Yep.
try to get a sense of that from our perspective. And then once we get sort of the handle of, you know, if the bus company is reporting that, yeah, they think that this is a safety concern, then I think maybe we can try to relay those
Yeah.
concerns. So we can look at this packet, I can talk to our bus company, and we can see where it goes.
If you have any questions, you can call me, too. All
right.
Yeah, and the big concern is the foot traffic, pedestrian traffic.
Yeah, okay.
That's the big thing, because you guys got a lot of students coming
Walking to
to
the
and
bus
from,
stop, yeah.
walking, yeah.
Yep.
Particularly after school, so thank
right.
you for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
so much.
All right, looks like we don't have any reps here today, huh?
No, I don't think we
Anybody
do.
bails?
I know Robin Quist said she was not able to make it today, so.
All right, so, Steve, moving to you.
All right, superintendent's report. So we just have 3 new hires, Mary Montekia, Christina Boudreau, and Sarah Tiernan all started today, actually, as ABA IAs at the elementary school. So we are getting closer to fully staffed there, so we're working on it. The next update was just on social, emotional, and physical wellness. So as always, we include the sort of the page from the strategic plan, and then tried to have sort of an update here. So, I mean, I don't have to read all of it, but you can see some of each building kind of put some bullet points together of what they're doing to sort of support the strategic plan. And I think we hit almost all of those things in there. You know, the high school's continuing with additional counselor, continuing with the Bright program, working with the I Decide drug education curriculum, continuing to allow kids to eat. One of the things we started was letting kids eat outside during the lunches. We've continued that now, even though it's, you know, post-COVID, but now that, you know, they could handle it then, so why can't they handle it now? Yeah. Still allowing teachers to bring their classes outside, working with the advisory curriculum, and I know that last PD day, the faculty were working on developing some more, I guess, meaningful kind of curriculum units, advisory curriculum units together instead of just like a canned package, and I think that they seem to really like working together and doing that. We are looking at bringing Chris Herron in, the Herron Project.
Great.
I know Mr. Cermak's been working hard on reaching out for some grants and things to help cover that. At the middle school, obviously, you saw Mr. Notaro here today, bringing the Dean of School Culture position. He's working on some things. It's nice having, it's nice having another set of eyes around during the day there. He's also collaborating with Ms. Carey with the PBIS program. They're not using Bright at this time at the middle school, as far as the way Bright is kind of packaged and licensed, because it really didn't quite fit all the needs of the student population, but kind of building off those principles to make it more of the therapeutic learning center. We do have an executive functioning class that we had piloted last year as a special, and I think that those it's a good time just to kind of help students sort of process and learn how to kind of manage themselves. They are looking at creating clubs. They've been doing a lot, Mr. Notaro's been doing a lot of that work to get samples for different clubs and activities. So what they're going to try to do is switch up that win block, so there's a couple days of it that are more club activity, student interest focused, and balance that out with the ones that are more intervention type focused. So, and then still working with the Start With Hello, Sandy Hook Promise that we've been working with for a few years there. At the elementary school, they're continuing with DESA, which was a SEL type program that they got, computer program with interventions, right? Kind of like iReady. So we were able to pilot that last year, and we were able to get from the DESE, and then we were able to get a grant to continue that work this year. There's a SEL special. Last year was just in grades 3. Now it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. And still participating in the SEL Academy at the elementary school, and the Dean of Students down there, which has been there for a while. Ms. McNally's been oversees the PBIS program down there, and they still have the therapeutic learning classroom in the BCBA. So I think as far as social emotional learning, I think we've come a long way. I think everyone recognizes now more than ever that that's a topic that we need to make sure we're addressing, and I think we've been using the positions we've been adding to try to do so. Any questions on social emotional physical wellness? Student achievement updates here. I don't have as much to share with you. I was hoping to actually be able to share some data with you, but that data is still embargoed until September 29th, I believe. This is just on the desktop thing I put in the packet just when they came out and let us know that it was going to be released on the 29th. So don't really have much to say about the accountability data at this point. So what we will do, our next meeting after this, believe it or not, is the Tri-Council meeting.
17th.
Yeah, so at that Tri-Council meeting, typically what we do is we go over that data anyway, so we'll get a kind of a good presentation of that data, but it will come out on 29th. We do have a webinar with the DESE tomorrow. Superintendents do at noon, because they're going to talk a little bit about how they're sharing that information and like what they're sharing, because it's not as clean as it used to be as far as like how it fits together for any type of accountability system. So the page after that, I do have we do have advanced placement data, and we'll talk more about this at the we'll reference this again at least at the Tri-Council meeting, but we have been working with MIMSI, Massachusetts Math. Mr. Cermak, what is who we've been working with? AP. MIMS, is it MIMSI? No, what is it?
No, Mass Insight.
Mass Insight, that's who it's been doing? Okay.
Mass Insight, sorry.
So Mass Insight we've been working with for the, with our APs for the last couple of years, trying to work on expanding our access to courses and also providing teachers some professional development and things like practice sessions for students. So one of the things that we thought was, you can see if we looked at the 4-year trend there, we had the most exams taken that we've had, in the last 4 years, by a lot in 2022. Part of what helped that, you can see there's still some, like calculus fluctuates a little bit, although, you had the AB and the BC, but we've added the computer science principles, which was 11 of those tests. The English numbers went up a little bit, and also the statistics has grown quite a bit.
Question?
Yeah.
The qualifying score on an AP test, is it like at least a 3, right?
3.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
So you can see how, we've gone up to 119 tests taken, so that's the first goal, which is kind of getting that access, right? Trying to get more kids enrolled and taking those tests. And then for qualifying scores, same idea, we went up to 48 qualifying scores, where previously, we're more closer to 28 a couple of years, and then the dip for probably the post-COVID year. A lot of those coming from the English literature and composition, also the statistics and the computer science. So, overall, I think the AP scores are positive, and I think that we're kind of shows that we've been getting what we've wanted out of Mass Insight the last few years.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm looking at this right, the 20% more exams have been taken, but, well over 100% more qualifying scores.
Yeah, from last year to this year,
Yeah.
All right. So any questions on the student achievement data? Like I said, we'll dig deeper into it on the 17th. And actually, Tina, I might want to, I'll try to maybe share some of this AP data. I can maybe put this together, write a letter to the NIPRO Foundation, because that's, our work with Mass Insight is what they've helped fund, so I could, show them that there was some progress there. The MSBA update, so for the building committee, we have our next meeting tomorrow. That is a virtual meeting. So we're just doing a click on that. One of the next stages that we're entering is educational programming. So I just have the one page in here that kind of describes what the educational programming is. So we're starting to look at things like class size policy, or how do you envision your school, right? Do you envision it just as like classrooms? Would it be more common learning spaces? Do you want teams together? Do you want departments together? Those types of things. So trying to kind of get those out. So we're trying to build out those ideas, so that then when the designer comes on, we can do even more work to build out those ideas. So I should have a draft of this educational programming that I've put together based on examples from other schools, and just trying to kind of add sort of, a lot of it is kind of looking at your current programming and then what your future programming might be. So I tried to do as much of that as I could do, and I think I'll probably be sharing that. If I don't share it at the meeting tomorrow, I'll probably be sending it to the building committee shortly after the meeting tomorrow. And then the next step would be for us to get some stakeholder input on that. We'll be asking for a lot of input from the middle school teachers on the October 24th Professional Development Day, so we can try to get some feedback from the teachers themselves. And then this is a document that, I'll double check with our OPM, but how much more we need to do before the designer does it, because I know the designer kind of does their own focus groups and those types of things as well. So we're just getting into that. It's sort of setting the vision of, before they can just say, oh yeah, we need, this building's fine, or we need a new building. They need to know, what is it you want? If you could design how you want to educate kids, what would it look like? And that's kind of what we're starting on right now. Student activity accounts. So there's a list of student activity accounts. What we need to have is these. So there's a page for the high school and a page for the middle school. And every year we need to approve these student activity accounts at some point during the year. So Annette asked us if we could do that this meeting so she can put it in for the auditor.
What is it that we're approving? Just the existence of them?
Yeah, so you're just approving the active, I think you don't have to do the inactive clubs. I think at this point you're just approving the active clubs for the student activity account. So basically, the student activity account is essentially any money that is raised by kids, right? So if they do like class dues or something like that, or even for drama, it might be like the ticket money for some of the things, or donations they get from there, or their concession stands. That money goes into a checking account. We have a person who is the student activity treasurer who kind of monitors that, and then each of these accounts are connected to an advisor. So then, if you're the class of 2023, you know, you raise money, you have dues, you did whatever, you put it in there. Now you're gonna spend it on, you gotta pay your yearbook bill between the advisor, the principal, they have to sign off, and they could write the check. The principal can write the check with the advisor's blessing, and then the treasurer kind of monitors it. So these are audited, you know, they're
parallel to our budget.
right, so this money is, it's so basically we don't have commingling of funds, right? So we have our general fund, but stuff that like students raise or stuff that's given for that specific, like, you know, concession stand donations, like those purposes go into specific events are kept in this separate account. So we can only have so many of these accounts because we need to kind of, there's only so many that are approved, right? And then if you, and then that way so all these are reconciled. So even though they're in like one big checking account, there will be, there's sort of a separate ledger that has the balance for each of these clubs. So if I was the math club, I should be able to check with the treasurer and say, what's my balance? And they're gonna say whatever it is, and we might say, okay, dues for the math club this year are $7, so we can afford pizza, you know, whatever it is. So,
Steve, is this concession stand the one across the street?
yeah.
So,
I don't know if any, do you know, I don't know if any concession stand goes, no, because the concession stand in the winter is run by student council. So I think that goes under student council, in like the basketball ones.
I'll make a motion that we approve these student activity accounts.
Yeah, I'll second that.
okay. Any other discussion, questions?
Sorry.
All in favor?
All right, thank you.
You and that.
All right.
All right, that's all I have.
Perfect. All right. Anything from curriculum?
Not yet,
Safety, we haven't met.
not since the first day of school or whatever,
All right.
or right before school.
Marketing?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Steve, did we have anything safety related as a follow-up? Like the few things that came out of that meeting were, you know, where do we go with Alice training? I assume they did all the fire drills and all that fun stuff within that 10 days
Yep.
anyway. So all that stuff's behind us, but was there anything else that came out of, from an action item perspective that they're waiting on us for, from a training or?
I think
Action
probably our
perspective.
next step, if you remember, Alice training is one of the things the lockdown type Alice trick training. That's going to be a focus for October.
Okay,
So we're hoping to get those. So then probably the next safety committee meeting might be in, you know, November, December, something like that, where we can say, okay, we've done, you know, we did our fire drills, we did our Alice training, like what's our next step?
Perfect.
All right. Marketing?
Yeah.
We just had our first meeting tonight.
Yeah.
So we just kind of went over our big, you know, areas of focus for this year. The number one being just the whole publicity and the lack of the item reporting that we've kind of seen so far and how we're going to try to combat that. So Steve's going to look into how we can get, you know, like the pictures from tonight, how we can get those submitted so that we might be able to get some press coverage on that. The new website will be launched hopefully by the end of October. So we did get to see a sampling of that. It's looking great. If anybody, I think if you go to it, you can pull it up, and it's just not finalized yet, right?
The public can't get to it yet.
Oh, the public can't-
Yeah, I
oh,
have
okay.
yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, we have our new middle school, the MSBA, and all the happenings with that. We want to make sure that we keep the community, you know, and kept informed on how that is. We're going to keep up with the Facebook page and the constant contact to get the word out to the community as far as what's going on in the schools. And I think that was it.
Yeah. And I do think, you know, this is our first meeting of the year, and typically we try to organize those goals, as Tina mentioned, and I think the big one that, honestly, as soon as you said it, it made so much sense, but Jan did so much above and beyond for covering so many events for us, and we've got to think about, you know, whether, and even if some of the stuff didn't necessarily make the item, it made it to the Facebook, so we got to try to, you know, make sure that we're coming up with a contingency plan, as we know that they're a little understaffed for there right now, so I think that was a great point.
All right. Policy Subcommittee, it's done quite a bit.
We do, yep. So the Policy and Procedures Committee met and reviewed a number of policies that could be taken in groups. They're presented here for you, were presented in your packet on Thursday, Friday with, as a first reading, with the understanding that over the weekend you may not have been able to read with great detail all of them. JB has to do with equal education opportunities. JICFB is bullying prevention. I should note that all of the policies under consideration have been MASC approved. JJ is co-curricular and extracurricular activities. JKA is physical restraint of students policy, which is not only comes from MASC, but Mass General Law. Those are the J policies. We would recommend as a subcommittee that we vote to approve these as a first reading, to give you time to get into them if there are any other questions. That's the first block of the J policies. I can get into the others if you want to take them as a block or whatever the pleasure of the committee is.
You guys want?
I mean, what's the timeline of when, normally, we wouldn't see this many at a time.
Yeah.
So so these are all out for first reading?
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
all of them are, yeah.
So then we would put them on for a second reading at the October 17th meeting. So we would have, you'd have like however many weeks, and then if we needed to propose any like amendments or changes to them between now and then, we could, or at that meeting.
Contact you.
Yeah.
Yep. So-
Okay, that
well,
sounds good.
Right.
And then, just to reiterate what, I should have put, I had a little cheat sheet that we used for the policy committee. I probably should have put that in the packet too, but I went through a lot of them before we met to kind of look at it and say, here was our old, we look at the old policy, we look at the MASC policy, and really you're adding, one sentence, or you're adding one group of protected students, or you're so it's really, most of them aren't, I'd say almost none of these are new. They're pretty much just updating existing
yeah.
policies to minor tweaks that the MASC has recommended.
If something in Mass General Law has changed or,
So we could approve the, if I counted it right, the 26 of them for a first reading, and then to what Tina said, if we have any changes between now and a month from now, we could just send them to you and CC
Yep.
the rest of the board, so everybody saw, we wouldn't,
You could do that,
Interact
and then
in a
you
little
could,
bit,
and
just
then
so
that
we
way,
see.
and then what we could probably do then is, if you have particular concerns on one,
right.
you can send those to me or Kelly, and what we'll do is, anyone that had, on the next agenda, any ones that have concerns, we can maybe put separately. Anyone that has no concerns, we can put there. So we can get a bunch of them that don't have concerns, and people will just say approve for second reading. And if there's ones that we need to have some discussion on, and maybe we still might be able to approve them, we might just have to do a minor amendment to them.
Okay. So, I'll entertain a motion to approve the below-listed policies for first reading. I think there's 26 of them. Not reading them.
so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Any other discussion? And like I said, we'll just send it then to Steve. All right, all in favor?
All right, thank you.
All right, facilities. So, I walked through with the grounds with Brian on Friday. So him and I are just going to kind of email each other, make sure we're on the same, and then I'll send it out to you guys between now and, I don't know, the end of the week or so. But it was nothing major. It was looked good. It was nothing.
I do know on
Nothing
the,
shocking.
because the permanent building committee is like a subset of the of the middle school building
Right.
committee, we do have an agenda item tomorrow to look at the quotes for the roof.
For the
Veterans Athletic Center,
Yep,
yeah.
okay.
So we got those quotes in, so basically it's like a quick agenda item before we get into the middle school business. It's just so the permanent building committee can vote to
Okay,
go with the
yeah, because he
bid.
did mention,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know, he
So
did
we should
mention
be getting
looking
that
for a
going.
bid, okay.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I walked through the elementary school on Tuesday with Brian, and everything looks pretty good. The only thing that might come up in the future is the roof. We're coming on 20 years, but everything looks pretty good.
All right, anything else? All right, we have nothing on negotiations, do we?
No, we're
Done, right? All right.
We're off here.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, I think we have an opportunity to recognize a very special young man here tonight.
All right. Well, thanks, Joe.
It's the way we should finish anyway.
Yeah.
I do have one more piece of old business that I might need a vote on, but.
Yeah.
She's going to get the camera.
Come on up, come on up.
Do you have
Get
the,
it.
you have the certificate?
Ms. Cameron had taken it, so that's okay. We'll get it tomorrow, okay? All right, so I already read a little bit about you. I told them how great you are.
she's
So
ready
we're
to
gonna do
camera.
it right here again, okay?
Oh, here she is. I just had one here. She's coming with the camera.
Oh, okay.
We're going to take your picture.
Wait a minute. Okay?
Just of all of the great things you've done.
Yes. All right, so this is Samuel D'Souza, and we are recognizing him for his leadership at Clinton Elementary School, right? What did you do to help me?
Every time you call me, I help the students that just came here, help them be calm.
Help them be calm, you helped me learn some Portuguese, right? So when we had some kindergarten students that started at the elementary school and they were crying and they were a little bit scared, Miss Sylvia was trying to use a little bit of Spanish, right? But that wasn't working. So Samuel jumped in and offered some help, right? And now he's teaching me a little bit of Portuguese, right? Yeah, so Samuel is a leader at our school, and we are so, so proud of him. And look over here.
Look over there.
There you go.
Samuel, can we shake your hand?
Can you shake everybody's hand?
Congratulations.
Oh, this one, buddy. Go right in front of
That's
the
all
table, okay?
They'll reach over.
Thank you so
There you
much for
go.
helping the other students.
Congratulations, pal.
And
Congratulations.
Miss Sylvia.
I love the hat.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Congrats, good job.
Well done.
Samuel, let's see how my Portuguese is. Ready? Estamos orgullosos dele. Did I do okay? Okay.
Samuel, what did she say? Sam, what did she say?
What did I say?
What did she say?
What did I say?
What did she
In
say?
Portuguese.
What did she just say?
What'd she say?
Estamos orgullosos de él.
We're here
Mommy knows. She's hearing me. Proud of you, right?
We are proud of you.
Awesome job.
All right. All right. Thank you, Samuel. So I'll get the certificate to you tomorrow, okay? I'm so glad you made it.
Thanks for coming, bud.
Thank you, guys.
Great job.
All right. Under old business.
Yeah, so I have one, we've talked about this a couple, I think it's been updated a couple of times. Carolyn Cullinane is a grade 3 teacher at Clinton Elementary School. And she is currently on maternity leave. Her FMLA protected leave that we originally received a note on is scheduled to end December 2nd. At this point, she is requesting an unpaid leave through March 15th, and she wrote that it was due to medical complications related to her pregnancy, and that she understands this needs school committee approval. So according to the contract, the school committee can approve an unpaid leave of up to a year. So, I mean, it's her request.
I didn't hear the beginning part. What?
So she's she's on maternity leave right now.
Oh, okay.
So her FMLA leave would end in December. So she'd already requested maternity leave. It kind of updated you that she was on maternity leave. At this point, she's requesting unpaid leave from December 2nd through March 15th. So according to the contract, this can be approved by the school committee, for unpaid leave can be approved for up to a year.
This is,
So let's make a motion and then, sorry,
No, I was, wait.
sorry, and then we can discuss.
Absolutely. So do I have a motion to grant the unpaid?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we grant the leave.
and I will second
All
it.
right. Now, any discussion, questions, comments?
I was just going to ask if there's any precedent for this type of request. Is this something that commonly happens? You know,
There have been people that have taken time off. Typically, I think when you see this part of the contract exercised, it's usually almost for someone that might need to take like a whole year off. I mean, a lot of times that's how it's done. This is a little, it's a little unorthodox, the way it's just sort of kind of just extending it further into the school year. Obviously, it means that, those students won't have, we'll have the sub in there longer, which the sub pretty much opened the year. So, is it unprecedented? No, it's in the contract, and there are people who have gone through this process to get an unpaid leave. And I'd say, the only concern that comes up is then, you get someone who's going to be coming back and obviously has exhausted all of their sick time and stuff, and now you got to figure out how you're going to move forward from there. So, but that's, so, I don't know if that answers your question.
It does, sure.
Anyone else?
So I guess my question would be, and there's probably not an answer to it, but the substitute teacher that's currently there would be able to extend the leave as well, so that there isn't another disruption?
I think the substitute that's currently there is a staff member already. So is this instructional assistant who is a licensed teacher who is filling in currently. So
So at least there would be, if we were to grant this, there wouldn't be another.
right, it's not like we have someone committed till December and then we'd have to repost and get another transition in there, correct?
And then anything that we wouldn't, because she's taking she's taking the leave unpaid. So therefore, any adjustments we would have to make to that substitute that now becomes a longer-term substitute, that's already in place anyway, right?
Yes.
Financially.
Yep.
Because, I mean, if they were an IA and now they're going to be considered a full-time teacher, I mean, obviously, we want to
Yeah,
do that
because,
kind of
in the
stuff in
contract,
contracts.
that's a
Right.
different rate, yep.
Correct. Yep.
But it offsets with the fact that you have a teacher but a higher rate who's now on unpaid leave, so.
And what grade? I'm sorry.
Third grade.
Oh, third grade. I just know, I just, from parental concerns that I've heard and the continuity of the classroom, when she does come back in March, can we make the decision that the sub who has been with the children all year stay for the last 3 months? Or is that not up for us to decide? So just for the continuity of the kids not getting someone new just for the last 3 months, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really know how that would.
I mean, I'm sure we would have the ability to definitely do some sort of transition. I don't know that we'd be able to commit 2 staff members to the classroom for the last 3 months. I mean, I know for a fact we'd end up needing them for coverage and everything else, yeah, so. But we could definitely make sure that there's a transition window. It's not going to be, Friday the sub leaves and Monday the teacher.
But could we have the teacher who's returning be that fill-in person for the last 3 months, so that you would continue with?
Oh, I mean, we possibly could look into that,
You know what I mean? Just so that-
because the teacher's not, when you go on a leave like this, you're not guaranteed
The same position.
the same
Yeah.
position. You're
I mean, I'm
guaranteed
not-
someone,
you-
yep.
You guys would know better than I would,
Yep.
as far as that.
No, but that makes sense. So at that point, if the classroom's been running smoothly and everything seems to be working fine, and we don't want to disrupt it, yeah, we could leave that person in maybe for the year and then use Carolyn
The
in a
returning
different
teacher.
capacity, yeah.
Okay. Just a thought, but.
I think something to consider as we get closer to the teen. It's a great point, right?
Anything else? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Five
All
over.
right.
Oh, one other
Oh.
question, I'm sorry, I wanted to bring it up under discussion and I forgot. So the whole new FMLA policies, is that just, does that not apply to, like, town departments or school departments? I know,
So you're talking about like the Massachusetts paid family medical leave?
yes,
That does not apply to municipalities. Municipalities had an opportunity to, they could have opted in if they wanted to, but they weren't required because we provide almost all, all of our employees are provided with ample sick time that they can carry over and use. So it wasn't required for
I see.
municipalities to
Okay.
use it, yeah.
okay, thank you.
Then else under old business.
Yeah, just one thing. I know this didn't come up under staffing, but I know Dr. Meyer had brought up just the HR position and the impact that it has to the school, because obviously that's a joint, sort of a joint management position from Dr. Meyer and Mike Ward. So that has continued to progress. We did meet this past week, and Dr. Meyer, myself, and the rest of that subcommittee will be starting interviews Thursday and Friday.
Oh, nice.
So we do have a short list of about 4 candidates that we're
Good.
confident, we believe have the right background and could be a good fit for us. So there'll be more to come on that, but just to report back to you guys that is something that's progressing.
That's good.
Awesome.
Thanks. Then else under old business. Then under new business.
Just, I want to make sure you get under the 8 o'clock, not doing your
I know,
streak.
I'm
So in the
okay.
next minute,
So should we filibuster for about 6 minutes?
I know you go to, like, is it quarterly superintendent meetings, or, I guess, I just want to bring up the fact that this whole vocational ed and the children that in our district that are missing out on the vocational ed that they might want, if there's any discussion at superintendent's forums or anything like that for the need for a vocational school, that,
Yep.
is that something that Clinton can put their, put their name in now for, if there's some type of regional,
And we've already, I mean, I would say that was one of the ideas that was kicked around at the building committee meeting. I got to talk fast, but it was
There's no
basically
game on the socks around it. Go on, go on.
basically saying that the middle school, one of the challenges of the middle school was it was built with those large classrooms, and we had to put all the walls up and stuff. So one of the thoughts was, would it be possible to almost salvage the middle school and do a renovation to the middle school to make it a vocational school, right? Basically take those walls down, so now those big areas become shop areas. But we never would have the enrollment to do that ourselves, right? That'd be
Right.
something you have to try to find a regionalize, and there are some towns around us that are not members that we could reach out to. So I actually did email our senator and our representative about that, just to kind of say, hey, like, I don't even know where to start with trying to get a regional vocational school district like started. I don't know if there's funding for it, but let me throw this at you, So we have been trying to kind of, kick the tires on that when we can, at least just to see. And I know that we've been in plenty of contact with our legislators about the admission policy changes and stuff too. So hopefully, it'll resolve itself somehow. I know the state does recognize the need for more vocational education, so that's why I'm thinking at some point there might be an opportunity to start those schools. And I do know that there's, a group of communities here that are, just west enough of Assabet that they're not part of Assabet. And then problem is, you can't really go east. It's like you run into kind of like Worcester and Monty Tech, so, or can't go west, sorry.
just to kind of keep in the,
Steve, to Tina's point at the last meeting, I think you said there were 7 kids from Clinton that were offered.
Yeah.
Do you know, I don't want to put you on the spot.
I haven't got-
Non-member towns, are they kind of in the same boat?
The non-member, the
Yeah,
other
that we're
non-member
going to
towns?
Assabet, right? The ones like, we were getting so many seats, right?
Yeah.
The other non-member towns, do you think, are they kind of in the same,
As
getting
far
like
as-
5 or 6 kids?
I haven't checked with the other
Yeah.
communities, but I could check with, next time we have a superintendent's meeting, normally I have a Worcester County superintendent's meeting every month, so we probably have one coming up in the beginning of October. So I can try to talk to some of those superintendents
they're
and
in the
just sort of
same-
see how's this playing out for them. Yeah.
I think it all had to do with the shop that you requested. It wasn't just,
Available.
I think,
it
yeah.
wasn't just a waiting list from A to Z and they went down the list.
Yeah.
I think it was
There was
what
also
opened,
the
the
yeah.
children that left, what slots they opened up and what specialty, so.
Right. Then else under new business. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in
On
favor?
those. So-
1 hour.
1 hour.